Who will lead us in a prayer for the brave soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces and the hostages, and give his remarks.
Friends, can I have everyone's attention? As we celebrate this evening, we of course are well aware of what's going on in Israel. We continue to pray for our chayalim, our sons and daughters who are serving in the IDF, for all of the injured, and of course we pray for the safe return of the hostages. We'll start with the Psalms of David. Shir HaMa'alot, Mimama Kim Karaticha Adonai, Adonai Shema B'Kuli, Tien Aznecha Kashavot B'Kol Tachnunai. Im Abonot Tishmarya Adonai Miyamod, Kim Chasi Kalaman Kibarei. Kiviti Adonai Ketan Hashiv L'Rao Cholti, Nafshi L'Adonai Mishomar Boker, Shomar Boker. Echel Israel Adonai, Kim Adonai Chesed Rabbeim Ofedut, V'hu Yiteh Et Yisrael, V'Kol Avonotav. Yishverach Avatenu. Amaritza Yaakov, who worked at Kailei Tzava Hagana Israel. Omdimo Mishmar Tzinu Bari Elohinu Ligvol Vanon V'Yadu B'Mitzrayim. V'niyam Hagadol L'Vorava V'Shem Ha'Vayiv V'Ravayam. Yitain Adonai Tzavinu Kamim Aleinu Ligofem Pneim. Hagadosh Baruch Hu Yishmor V'Yatzil Tzchayelinu. V'Kol Tzar V'Tzukah V'Kol Negat V'Makla. Shlach Bracha V'Atzlacha V'Chol Ma'asei Yideihem. Yad B'Ritzonenu Tachniim Yatra Mekatir Shov V'Teretz Tzachon. Yameh Mekatuv Ki Adonai Leichem Aleichem Echem. Ilachem Echem Ima V'Echem. Oshiatchem. V'Nomar Amen. Achinu, Kol Beit Yisrael. Hanutzunu B'Tzara U'B'Shivya. Omdim Bein B'Yam U'Bein B'Yabasha. Hamakom Yirachim Aleichem. Yotzei Mitzala Ravacha Pela Oro Shiva L'Gula. Hashta Bagoz Makariv. V'Nomar Amen. Good evening, everyone. Hi. So wonderful to see everyone here tonight. Eizehu Chacham, Halomei Mikol Adam. Our Mishnah in Pirkei Avot teaches us who is wise, someone who learns from everyone. A truly wise person is not one who knows everything, but instead it's someone who's constantly learning. And today, I learned a lot of things. Today I learned that Merrick Jewish Center is really, really close to my house. Who knew? And today, I once again learned that Ohav Sholom is unquestionably the greatest shul on earth, despite those guys incessantly talking in the back of it during davening. So let me explain. In the parsha that we read yesterday, Moshe reproaches Aaron and his children for not following his specific instructions in the service of the Mishkan. Aaron retorts with an explanation. And the Torah says, Vayishma Moshe, V'yitav be'inav. And Moshe heard, and it was good in his eyes. What made Moshe the leader that he was, is despite the fact that he was the greatest prophet who ever lived, he saw the value in listening to dissenting opinions, and humbly accepting them when he realized he was wrong. And so, while I do not profess to be Moses in any way, shape, or form, I do recognize that I can be, in some rare circumstances, wrong. It happens. Now, I'm sure some of you, maybe many of you, all have lists of when I've been wrong over the last 15 years. I know that Chavi has a list from this morning. It's quite long, actually. But allow me to highlight two particular occasions. Two occasions when Daron was right, and I was wrong. The first was on the famous Friday the 13th of March of 2020. You remember, Daron? It was still early and so unknown, and we were being informed that shuls were closing due to this thing called the coronavirus. Now, I was insistent that whatever this thing was, could be addressed with some simple social distancing, which is a term that we were all learning right then and there. And finally, literally after hours and hours and hours of debate and research and discussion, it was Daron who humbly said in his baritone, "Rabbi, with all due respect, as president, the buck stops here, and I'm going to overrule you on this one." That was my Daron impersonation. And Daron insisted that we close the shul just hours before Shabbat. Now, I just want to tell you that while we happen to be here, between you and me, I can tell you that the Merrick Jewish Center did not close that Shabbat. But don't worry, they made up for it by not reopening for 3 years after the pandemic. I'm here, I might as well, right? But it was Daron who was able to see things from a taller perspective, who as the leader of our shul reminded me that our top priority must be always to protect our membership, and yet, who most likely saved lives that weekend. And Daron was right, and I was very, very wrong. The second time that I was proven wrong, ironically, was this evening, tonight. Several months back, we discussed whether we should have a dinner. With catering costs rising and the markets extremely volatile, I wondered aloud whether it would be too challenging to get our membership to come out to a dinner and to make this fundraiser a financial success. And Daron and Sarah humbly but confidently conveyed that they felt otherwise. And they said, in a paraphrase, if we build it, they will come. And once again, they were right, and I was wrong. Because this room is filled to capacity. And let's have a round of applause for that. The dinner has gone above its fundraising target, and with the help of so many, particularly the amazing Faye Duffler, and the phenomenal Jordan Smith, this dinner is a colossal success, whatever happens in the next hour. I am reminded once again how special and amazing and phenomenal our beloved communal family truly is. Vayishma Moshe, vayita be'inav. And Moshe heard, and it was good in his eyes. And I can't tell you how happy I am and how moved I am that I was wrong. Tonight, we celebrate our shul, and everyone knows that the shul is as great as their rabbi. But let's be honest, even I know that the heart of any shul is their volunteers, their passionate lay leadership, the generosity, the chesed, and the personal, individual, spiritual journeys of each and every member. Ohav Sholom is great because you are all great. And I am humbled time and time again, as well as tonight, to be blessed to be your rabbi. And can anyone find a greater dynamic duo of leaders and volunteers in our shul than Sarah and Daron Rubinson? Sarah is unquestionably just one of the nicest, kindest, and genuinely empathetic people that I have ever met. And to top it all off, she's also one of the most capable people that anyone has ever met. Mention a chesed need and she is already coordinating meals, hint at an event and she has a color-coded spreadsheet. Her kindness is woven into the very fabric of our community. And Daron's height is only matched by his heart. He is a quiet leader who doesn't know how to say no. He's involved in countless aspects of our shul. But for me, I was lucky to call you, Daron, my partner for 2 years, when you served by my side as shul president, and also my very dear, dear friend. And thank you both, Daron and Sarah. Thank you for reminding me, once again, how amazing our shul is, and how blessed we are to have you and your phenomenal daughters, Hannah and Alana, true leaders in our shul. May God bless you, and may Hashem bless this wonderful shul that we all call our home. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to officially welcome you to Ohav's 60th Annual Journal Dinner. A year ago, we celebrated 60 years of Ohav Sholom and our long-standing members who had joined the shul in the first 15 years. We went on a tour of Ohav's history, and I spoke about what a special, warm, welcoming, unique, accepting, non-judgmental, there when you need it, with volunteers who remain active and committed for decades, and caring and giving members who become lifelong friends, place Ohav has been since its inception. I'm not sure if there are any better representatives of how Ohav has continued to be all of those things than Daron and Sarah Rubinson. Daron and Sarah have been pillars of Ohav for over 20 years. Daron served as president, treasurer, youth committee chair. He currently co-chairs the nominating committee, ensuring that our shul continues to grow with strong leadership. And Sarah has led the membership committee and the Hesed committees and is currently helping to reinvigorate our Hesed efforts and is a key volunteer for Sisterhood and Bingo. Their home is always open to Shabbat guests. In fact, when Daniel and I first moved to Merrick with our then baby, now about to be high school graduate, Carly, they were the very first people who invited us for Shabbat lunch. I know I will never forget their hospitality and the way they made us feel so very welcome and a part of the family from day one. That's who they are. We have a few speeches coming about the Rubinsons, so I will let them tell you more, but I will just say that Ohav is certainly blessed to have Daron and Sarah as part of our community. And I think that all of you agree with me, with 170 people here tonight to support Ohav and the Rubinsons. In all of the years that I've been on the Ohav Executive Board, there has been only one journal dinner that was better attended, and that was the dinner honoring Rabbi Evan and Kevin. So I think that says a lot about the Rubinson family. I would now like to invite Kenny Duffler up to say a few words about the Rubinsons, and directly following that, we will hear from Daron and Sarah's daughters, Hannah and Alana. Kenny?
I'd like to thank the Rabbi and Jordan for stealing several of my lines. Good evening, everyone. He said as he figured out the mic. Good evening, everyone. It is my distinct honor to stand here before you as we recognize two individuals and dear friends whose dedication to our shul community has been nothing short of extraordinary. For over 2 decades, Daron and Sarah have embodied the true meaning of service, commitment, and leadership. They have given their time, their energy, and their hearts to strengthen the foundation and to continue the growth of our congregation. Sarah and Daron, along with their daughters Hannah and Alana, have become pillars of our community, not because they sought recognition, but because they saw needs and quietly stepped forward to fill them. Sarah particularly always says yes when the shul needs something. Daron and Sarah together do not know how to say no. Well, mostly Sarah. Just ask Daron. No matter how many times he says they should say no, Sarah says yes anyway. Faye and I were introduced to Sarah and Daron by mutual friends, a shidduch if you'd like, when we all lived in Forest Hills around 23 years ago. Coincidentally, Faye and I were already moving to Merrick. I was returning home, and Faye was joining me. Let's just say there was absolutely no way I was going to live in New Jersey. Sarah and Daron were also considering Plainview, but had heard about Merrick and Ohav Sholom, and were particularly interested in the new young rabbi. Oh, sorry, different rabbi. They were actually inspired by what they had heard about Ohav, the davening, the membership, the warmth, most especially the complete lack of talking in shul. In a move that surprised anyone who knows them, but most especially themselves, Sarah and Daron decided to move to Merrick, shul unseen, moving in shortly after we did. We were lucky enough to bring them their first Shabbat meal in Merrick. I'm not saying that we're heroes, but we are. Faye and I were fortunate to spend time with Daron and Sarah while our children attended preschool and Hank. Our daughters Meira and Hannah were in the same class in Hank as were Ariel and Alana. Along with Daron and Sarah, we spent many hours, so many hours, at plays, graduations, and terrible recorder concerts at Hank. And woe betide anyone that got between Sarah's video camera and the kids at those plays. As you can see from the monitor, just not on, Sarah really loves taking pictures. While we are very fortunate tonight to be joined by Sarah's mother Susan and Daron's mother Joyce, I would like to mention those who were with us during those times at Hank, but are not with us now. Sarah's father Bill and her sister Jen, Sarah's stepfather Alan, and Daron's father Frank, all of blessed memory. All the grandparents delighted in a way that only grandparents can over the accomplishments of little children. Even the reporter concerts, just the worst. I was fortunate to drive Ariel, Hannah, and Shira Lerner to Chabad daily while they attended preschool there. You would not think that you could have an actual conversation with a child in preschool. But in the house and in the car, Alana kept up a steady stream of conversation. Plus, unlike some of the other children, she never complained about the music on the radio. It wasn't Paul Zim, but she survived a 5-minute drive. I was also able to attend soccer games at the Fayette School to watch Meira and Hannah supposedly play soccer. I'm sure there were engaged parents at those games, and Daron and I were not among them. And Sarah was taking pictures. While I think about Harry's journey within our shul, I'm struck by the breadth of his contributions. It's a little known fact. Daron's first role was actually the political coordinator for Nelson Mandela. He has served in virtually every leadership capacity imaginable. As a trustee, communications secretary, treasurer, financial secretary, executive vice president, and ultimately as our president. I think the only executive board roles he didn't fill were ritual and house and property. Daron was actually in line for house and property, but when the committee showed him a picture of a hammer, he wasn't sure what it was. So they passed on. Each role Daron filled carries significant responsibilities, yet Daron approached them all with the thoughtful dedication and hard work that is his signature. Beyond these formal leadership positions, Daron has worked tirelessly behind the scenes. As chair of both the youth and nominating committees, he helped shape our future. In the back office during bingo nights, he ensured everything ran smoothly. And perhaps most movingly, as a Baal Tefillah, as well as a Torah and Haftorah reader, Daron inspires the congregation with his delightful falsetto. Here's a fun fact that some of you know. Sarah and I actually share a birthday. Sarah is my twin sister from another mister. I.e. slightly. Sarah's contributions have been equally vital to our community's well-being. For years, Sarah has always been very quick and generous to open their home to out-of-town guests, whether it's for chazanim, bar mitzvah guests, or youth leaders. Fittingly, Sarah became chair of the membership committee, where she warmly welcomed new families into our congregation and made them feel immediately at home. Her leadership of the Chesed Committee has ensured that in times of need, no member of our community stands alone. And for, I guess, what I still consider the young people of Ohav, none of them can remember when they were there, Sarah's at-home baking, which she did on a weekly basis with the kids of Ohav. This is completely unrelated to Sarah's short-lived career in the bakery business, but she assured me that the child labor issues have all been cleared up. Week after week, Sarah volunteered with Sisterhood helping to prepare Kiddush. And those of you who have worked our bingo game know that Sarah's work in the kitchen and coordinating volunteers has been instrumental to the game's continued success. As an aside, bingo still needs volunteers. Just 2 hours a month, that's all they ask. Together, Sarah and Daron represent the best of what community means. They understand that a shul is not merely a building, but a living, breathing kahila, a community bound together by shared values, traditions, and mutual support. Honestly, the list of what Daron and Sarah have contributed to our shul is exceptional. But what makes their service all the more remarkable is that they have balanced these responsibilities while raising their daughters, Hannah and Alana. By involving their children in shul life, they have taught them and reminded all of us that service to community is not a burden, but a blessing. We see this in both Hannah and Alana stepping up to volunteer to help out in various shul youth roles. There's a quote from Pirkei Avot that says, "Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, lo ata ben chorin levatel mimena." It is not your responsibility to finish the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. Daron and Sarah have lived this principle. They have never sought to do everything alone, but they have never stepped back from doing their part. In honoring Sarah and Daron tonight, we're not just acknowledging the list of committees chaired or the leadership positions held. We're celebrating the spirit with which they've approached every task, the kindness they've shown, and the love they have demonstrated for our community. So, to my friends, Daron and Sarah, on behalf of myself and everyone gathered here, your applause, I'm almost done, and the many more whose lives you've touched over these 20+ years, we thank you for your friendship, your leadership, and your unwavering commitment to building and sustaining our community. Chazak, chazak, b'nei chazek. May you go from strength to strength and be strengthened, and may you continue to be blessed as you have blessed us. Thank you.
Sorry guys, we're a little too tall for this. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to celebrate this incredible night for our parents. On behalf of my sister and myself, we're truly honored to speak about the two people who mean the world to us, our mom and dad. Our parents have been part of Ohav Sholom for over 20 years, and in that time, we've had the privilege of learning so much from their example. Their dedication, kindness, and love have shaped who we are today. Watching them pour their hearts making our shul a better place has taught us countless lessons, and tonight we'd love to share just a few. Number 1, if you think something is impossible, our parents will find a way, and probably have a backup plan too, just in case. Number 2, when our dad says, "I've got it," you can breathe easy. Not only will it get done, it'll be finished early with a super detailed spreadsheet and followed up with an email that somehow makes you feel both slightly impressed and slightly behind on your own tasks. And for proof, for what Rabbit Evan said before, this is one of our dad's spreadsheets, color-coded. When our mom says it's just a small project, prepare yourself. It's probably turning into a full-blown community initiative, complete with matching t-shirts. Picture from the If you've ever checked who's still on Zoom at 11:47 p.m., chances are it's our dad, still discussing fundraising logistics or board candidates. Number 5. If you drop by Ohav on a bingo night, chances are you'll find our mom handing out hot knishes while remembering everyone's bagel and drink order, and our dad in the back counting cash like he's running a Borough Park casino. Number 6. If you've attended an Ohav event or anything at Ohav, not on Shabbos, odds are our mom has a picture of you in her camera roll. Number 7, and if it is Shabbat and you hear someone chanting the Haftorah with the confidence of a cantor and the flair of a Broadway star, that's our dad giving it his all. We're honestly still waiting for someone to throw roses from the women's section. Number 8, walk into Ohav without knowing a soul, and by the end of davening, our parents will have welcomed you, invited you for Shabbos lunch, and made you feel like family. And if you've got a little kid with you, they'll leave with a new best friend, and her name is Sarah. Number 9, when our dad became president of the shul, he quickly learned that true leadership isn't just about running meetings. It's keeping calm when the AC breaks on day 1 and continuing to lead during a global pandemic. On a more serious note, we're beyond grateful for everything our parents have done, not just for us, but for this amazing community. They've always taught us that true success isn't about what you have, but what you give. And if that's the measure, then our parents are some of the most successful people we know. Whether organizing a coat drive, hosting guests, or quietly supporting others during times of joy and struggle, our parents do it all with humility and warmth, never seeking recognition, just showing up with full hearts. Giving back isn't a task for them, it's simply who they are. As they've grown, so too has their deep connection to Judaism. It's not just a set of practices, but the very foundation of their lives. From attending minyan and preparing meals for those in need, to offering comfort with a thoughtful visit or kind word, their unwavering commitment to Torah and mitzvot is a constant source of inspiration. Their selfless dedication to our shul and their values, driven not by obligation but by sincere love, has been profoundly moving to witness. Their passion, consistency, and wholehearted involvement are qualities we admire deeply and hope to carry forward in our own lives. So with that, we will end with the most important lesson of all. Number 10. If your parents are Sarah and Daron Rubinson, you grow up knowing that building a better community isn't a job, it's an identity. That might mean schlepping chairs, shopping for kiddush, or being voluntold for just one more event. But you do it with love, pride, and a smile, because that's the Rubinson way. And the impact of that way, it speaks for itself. Just look around this room. It is filled with people whose lives you've touched. On behalf of all of us, thank you for showing us what it means to lead with purpose, compassion, and heart. Mazel tov, we love you.
Rabbi Eben, President Jordan Smith, members of the Executive Board, members of the Board of Trustees, Faye Duffler, and the Journal Dinner Committee, family, and friends. Thank you for bestowing upon us this great honor. If you know us well, you know we're much more comfortable behind the scenes. We prefer quiet action over the spotlight. But tonight isn't just about us. It's about supporting our beloved shul in one of the most important annual fundraisers. We are truly thrilled by the incredible turnout. We want to thank our amazing daughters, Hannah and Alana, for your willingness to speak about us and share your experiences growing up at Ohav. A special thank you to Hannah, who came back from Binghamton for just one day, only a week after returning from Pesach break, so we could find a workable date for this event. You are both such special young women, and we're endlessly proud of you. We'd also like to acknowledge our family. Both of our moms, Susan Fetterman and Joyce Rubenson, are here tonight, as well as my brother David, who made the trip from Austin, Texas. And to our local family and friends from Ohav and beyond, thank you for being here. We are truly grateful for your love and support. As is our tradition at meaningful events, we remember our beloved Bill Zager, Frank Rubenson, Alvin Fetterman, Jen Hock, and other dear close relatives who are no longer physically present, but are with us in spirit. Finally, while tonight is one of celebration, our cup is half full as we think about the 59 hostages, alive and deceased, who remain in Gaza, and we pray for their speedy return to Eretz Yisrael.
To my dear wife, Sarah, you are the embodiment of an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. We're two type A personalities. Well, I was type B until I met you. Always moving, always striving. Thank God for Shabbos. You are kind, compassionate, and guided by a deep sense of right. I don't think there's a person in this room who hasn't been touched by your empathy. Being shul president isn't always easy or glamorous, but I never stood alone. You were always beside me, partner, confidant, best friend, and the most amazing mom to our daughters. For those who missed my first Kol Nidre speech in 2019, or who slept through it, our journey to this moment began about 21 and a half years ago. We were a young couple expecting our first child, ready to move from Forest Hills, the land of granny carts and impossible street parking, to the more family-friendly suburbs of Nassau County. In Forest Hills, we were members of the Forest Hills Jewish Center and made a few friends at the same stage of life. One such couple was Jimmy and Lisa O'Connor. Lisa introduced us to her childhood friend, his wife, and their adorable 2-year-old son. That couple was none other than Kenny and Faye Duffler and little Gabriel. Side note, over the past few months, Faye probably regrets that meeting ever took place. Somehow we convinced or guilted her into chairing the Journal Dinner Committee. But in truth, despite any reservations she may have had, Faye accepted the role with grace and enthusiasm. She has led a small army of volunteers to create this beautiful evening. Faye, thank you for your tireless work, creativity, and strict attention to every detail, no matter how minute. Kenny, thank you for your thoughtful and always humorous remarks. We're so grateful for your friendship, and it's been such a joy watching our kids grow up together. Back to Forest Hills. When we started considering a move, Lisa O'Connor insisted that Congregation Ohav Sholom in Merrick was exactly what we were looking for. We debated between Plainview and Merrick, but did something, we'll talk about stealing thunder, Kenny, completely out of character. We chose Merrick and joined Ohav without even visiting for a Shabbos. To give you some perspective, we don't even buy socks without comparing brands, prices, reviews, and return policies. So how do we make one of the biggest decisions of our lives on a whim? Somehow we just knew. From the moment we stepped inside Ohav, we felt it. Warmth, welcome, friendship. It's something we heard others say too. 5 months after moving in, we welcomed our first daughter, Hannah. About 3 years later, Alana arrived and completed our family. It didn't take long for us to get involved. I joined the board of trustees and Sarah dived into sisterhood, especially kiddish shopping and prep. Soon she was leading both the Chesed and membership committees. Even our girls from a young age took on roles as Ohav ambassadors, warmly greeting new families. Jordan Smith once shared how when she and her family first came to the shul, 4-year-old Hannah pointed at Carly and exclaimed, "Sorry, I can't emulate the high-pitched voice. Look, a baby." That one-person welcoming committee wagons really paid off. Eventually, both girls became youth leaders, setting an example for those who follow in their footsteps. In July 2019, after serving in various roles, I was elected to serve as Ohav's 28th president. I'm sure I'm not the only one who, after accepting the role, had doubts. Who was I to lead this esteemed institution, thriving since the 1960s? What made me qualified? In Parshat Shemini, which Jake Oppenheimer laid so beautifully yesterday, Moshe Rabbeinu in chapter 9, verse 7, I'll say it in English, instructs his brother Aaron, "Come near to the altar and offer your sin offering and your burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself and the people. Sacrifice the offering that is for the people and make atonement for them as the Lord has commanded." Our sages were puzzled by this instruction. Why did Moshe need to instruct Aaron to come near the altar? Aaron's hesitancy to approach was undoubtedly tied to his role in one of Bnei Yisrael's greatest sins, the Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf. He had serious doubts about his worthiness. As Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs points out in his book, Judaism's Life-Changing Ideas, Moshe understood that it was precisely because Aaron knew sin and guilt that he was best positioned to atone for the people. Moshe himself had wrestled with and overcome his greatest weakness, a speech impediment, to become the mouthpiece of the divine. Like Moshe and Aaron, not that I'm comparing myself to them, I too had to overcome my doubts and my ability to lead the shul. When I began my presidency, I had ambitious goals, building out robust subcommittees, focusing on youth engagement and growing membership. Even after the personal loss of my dad later that year, we pressed forward, gaining real momentum. Then in March 2020, COVID arrived and the world shut down. Growth took a back seat, survival became the focus. There was no playbook, no one to ask. Partnering with Rabbi Eben, Adam Marchuk, and my incredible executive board, we pivoted quickly. We prioritized outreach, helping members navigate fear, isolation, and uncertainty. We got creative, Zoom programming, virtual services, outdoor events, even an ice cream truck visit after distributing Rosh Hashanah packages. Ohav Eats supported kosher restaurants and provided safe dining experiences for our members. For the high holy days that year, we ran simultaneous indoor and outdoor services, meaning 2, not 1, Kol Nidre speeches. Thanks to the tremendous efforts of Rabbi Eben and others, we helped our seniors and vulnerable members access early vaccines, and soon the wider community was reaching out to Ohav for help. Financially, we faced challenges. No bingo, no journal dinners, but we innovated, launched the Pillars of Ohav, organizing an Ohav-a-thon fundraiser, and securing Paycheck Protection Program. Try saying that quickly. Funding. And with your help, we not only endured, we emerged stronger. I want to conclude by addressing our newer member families. Many of you weren't here during that difficult time. I want to say this. As the co-chair of the nominating committee, if we ever reach out to you asking you to take on a leadership role, know this. We understand how busy you are. Raising families, juggling demanding roles, and long commutes. It can feel like too much. But here's the truth. Every single leader at Ohav has felt the same way. And yet, they stepped up. The shul thrives because of its volunteers. While we are blessed with a phenomenal rabbi and a dedicated staff, the heart of Ohav is, and has always been, its members. When Sarah and I first joined Ohav in 2003, we never imagined we'd one day be standing here. But the truth is, no matter what contributions we have made to this organization, Ohav has given us so much more in return. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful evening.
Thank you so much, Daron and Sarah. And before we enjoy dinner, Daron really segued perfectly because an event like this does not come to life by itself. We are blessed to have amazing volunteers who step up in ways both big and small at Ohav. On behalf of myself, my Executive Vice President, Ari German, Rabbi Evan, our Vice President of Fundraising, Adam Cohen, and the entire synagogue, we want to take a moment to acknowledge all of the individuals who gave their time and energy to make sure this event would be a success. To begin, special thanks to those who helped with our silent auction and raffles, including Sima Barron, Bella Baruch, Sarit Convoy, Bryn Dasher, Kara Denenberg, Dave Denenberg, Josh Diamond, Gary Friedman, Roberta Gotchman, Amy Harris, Ari German, Donna Lax, Yitzi Lax, Nahama Leibowitz, Jax Nahum, Darren Rubinson and Sarah Rubinson, Allison Siegel, Nicole Siegel, Edie Stein, Amy Tannenbaum, Robin Wolstetter, and Ann Zimmer. And a special shout out, of course, to Sid Ruthenberg, who really outdid himself this year, collecting raffles far and wide, and was an excellent proofreader of our website as it pertains to the raffle and silent auction, and took such care to ensure all of his vendors were well publicized. Special thank you as well to Adam Gardner for helping us with the website, and Linda Nemiroff for assisting with invitations, and to Simona Ostrow, to Jamie Shane, and Nicole Siegel for helping to check people in today. And finally, there is a group of people who really stepped up as leaders this year who we'd like to call up individually to receive a small token of our gratitude. First, for photography, Ronnie Cohen. For invitations, Heather Linderman. For seating, Barry Birnbaum and Kenny Duffler. Just now you know who to complain to if you don't want to. For organizing the journal book, Brian Bertan. For the photo and slideshow and arranging videotaping tonight, David Hauser. It's true. Our raffle chair, Hannah Diamond. For his critical help with coordinating catering and entertainment and providing always helpful advice and support, the incomparable Peter Tannenbaum. Take your time, Peter. I know. I'm an old man. Talk to Kenny and Barry about that.
Talk to Barry.
And last but certainly not least, a tremendous Yasher Koach to our journal dinner chair, Faye Duffler. They worked tirelessly and with so much heart to ensure that this dinner would be phenomenal. Please give her another round of applause. And Faye, this is for you. Now, please enjoy a buffet dinner, socialize and have fun. I believe we will be having mincha at some point, which will be announced when it's time, followed by our entertainment for the evening, comedian John Pizzi. See you back here then. Thank you.